Welcome to another episode of the Theme Parkers Podcast. My name is Aaron, and this week I'm joined with Sarah.
Hello.
Brian.
Hey.
And Brett.
What's up?
And we're going to continue our resort series again this week. And this week we're going to jump up to the moderates, and we're going to cover the Port Orleans Riverside and Port Orleans French Quarter Resort. And we're going to go over rooms, amenities, merchandise, food, and transportation. Did I miss anything? Anybody?
No.
Anybody?
No.
All right, cool. All right, Bueller. Who wants to go first? Anybody? Bueller.
You want to go first?
Brian, why don't you go first?
With rooms? All right. So, Port Orleans is kind of different than some of the other moderates where it's almost like two resorts into one. It used to be Dixie Landings and Port Orleans, and then they combined them, and now it's all known as Port Orleans, and then you have Riverside and French Quarter. So, starting off with the rooms, Port Orleans, or all rooms at Port Orleans Resort feature the same basic items in each room. So I kind of cover them first, and they're the same for both sides, whether it's Riverside or French Quarter. They all have coffee makers, mini fridges, flat panel TVs, queen beds, double sinks, tables and chairs, the wall safe, iron and iron board, hair dryer, and then they feature the curtain, whereas like the newer rooms have the sliding door. They still have the older curtain to go between the sleeping area and the sink area. All the rooms on all the French Quarter or all the Port Orleans rooms have a ceiling fan with the exception of the Royal rooms. They do not. They took them out for a fancier light fixture, but I know a lot of people really like that ceiling fan. I know we kind of do, and also across all the Port Orleans resorts, there's 10 bookable room categories, which means like either, standard view, garden view, all the different views. So I guess first off, we'll start over at the Riverside and talk about those rooms. And then at Riverside, rooms are kind of divided into two sections. You have Alligator Bayou and Magnolia Bend, which are just kind of, they're themed different. The buildings are laid out a little bit different, and the theming overall is different. The Alligator Bayou section has 16 two-story lodges for a total of 1,024 guest rooms. And out of those 1,024 guest rooms, there's 6 bookable room categories. 54 of those rooms have a king-size bed, and 17 of them are located on the first floor to accommodate wheelchairs. Also located in the Bayou section, they have preferred rooms. And this is the only area of anywhere between Riverside or French Quarter that you can get a preferred room. And those are located in the buildings 14, 15, 18, and 27, which are the closest 4 to the main building in South Depot, which is the main bus stop. The Alligator Bayou rooms also have a small, I don't really know what the technical name for it is. It's kind of like a mini trundle type bed. It folds down. There's a little bench that folds down. It can sleep a small child. I think the actual measurements of it are something like 30 by 60 inches. So it's not much for anything other than a small child. But those rooms will allow up to 5 guests.
I know I'm sorry to interrupt, but that trundle bed that comes down, I know, I can remember from the times we stay there, it looks like a crate in the wall.
It does.
Yeah, and then on the inside it
when
has...
you pull it down, it's got that alligator from Princess Frog.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I saw a lot of people, and I still see it occasionally, that people don't even know it's there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They stay there the whole week and don't even know they could be folded down into a bed, but...
It's pretty cool.
It is. And one thing about the Alligator Bayou sections that are different than the other ones, there's no elevators in the individual buildings. So if climbing stairs is something you don't want to do, you might want to try to figure out something to either request one of the mansion sections or actually pay for the upgrade to a royal room. As far as the theming in the Alligator Bayou, it's the most rustic of the sections. I mean, the bed frames are made out of what looks like logs, and it's the least fancy of all the resorts. The actual backstory to all the Port Orleans is, as they were building these buildings coming up the river, the farther up the river it got, the harder it was for them to get materials. So as they built things got less and less fancy until they got all the way to the end. But that's pretty much it for Alligator Bayou. And then moving on around to Magnolia Bend, which are what they call the mansion sections of Port Orleans Riverside. Magnolia Bend section, you'll find 4 3-story mansions, buildings, and they're located in the 4 building names are Arcadia House, Magnolia Terrace, Oak Manor, and Parterie Place. Each of those 4 buildings has 256 rooms, which gives you another 1,024 rooms on that section. In the Arcadia House in Magnolia Terrace, there are 5 bookable categories of rooms, which again are like your parking lot view or your standard view, your garden view, pool view, that type of thing. There's 512 rooms total at Oak Manor in Parterie Place, and they're the Royal Rooms, which are 2 buildings worth. And if there's 40 rooms that feature king beds, but those are only in Magnolia Terrace or Arcadia House. They don't have any king beds in the Royal Rooms. And then finally, out of the mansions, there's 34 additional rooms that are set up to accommodate wheelchair access. And then in the Magnolia Bend, each mansion, the main area does have an elevator, and they're located in those 4-story mansion middle sections. So now for the Royal Rooms, which are the fanciest of the rooms. The Royal Rooms are decorated a lot nicer than any of the other rooms at Riverside. And the rooms are decorated with treasures from Tana's royal friends from classic Disney animated films such as Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast, Cinderella, Little Mermaid, Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs. And it's little things like the bathroom faucets are in the shape of the genie's lamp from Aladdin. The luggage bench looks like it's in the shape of the Sultan, the dog that was turned into a bench in Beauty and the Beast.
That's cool.
And then on the floor, there's actually like a magic carpet.
I want to stay in a royal room.
I know.
There's the beds are decorated. The headboards, they light up with fiber optic special effects. And they have like gold and crystals around them to make them look even fancier. And then the bed coverings are even different for the royal rooms that make them look like they're a whole lot more royal, I guess you would say. Again, all the royal rooms feature 2 queen-size beds. There's no king bed rooms in that section. And they also don't allow any extra rollaway beds. So finally, that pretty much finishes up Riverside. And the French Quarter, the rooms at the French Quarter are basically the same. But as far as the layout, the floor size and everything, it's the same. The only thing that's different is the decor. But at French Quarter, there's 1,008 guest rooms in 7 3-story buildings, each with 144 rooms per building. And it's a Mardi Gras themed decor. There's 59 king rooms, and they also have some rooms that accommodate wheelchair access. And unlike Riverside, there's no preferred room in French Quarters, because French Quarters is a whole lot smaller resort, so you really don't need them. But all the pool view rooms are fairly close to the main building, so if you wanted something fairly close, you could always do that pool view upgrade. But that pretty much covers the rooms.
Going back to Riverside area, is I've stayed in both the Bayou and the mansion area, and as much as I liked the mansion area, it was like once you've stayed at Alligator Bayou, you don't like the mansion area is too nice. Almost, it was too clean. If that makes any sense.
Well, I've never stayed over there, so I don't know.
It was like it didn't. Yeah. It didn't feel like I was still at Port Orleans. You know, like, Alligator Bayou's so, like, warm and homey.
There's, like, trees covering everything.
Yeah, it's just so nice and just kind of hidden, I guess.
Yeah. We've stayed in the royal rooms, we've stayed in the regular mansions, we've stayed at the Bayou. The Bayou buildings, the only thing I don't like about them is the way they're cut up. I feel like you got to zigzag back and forth.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You walk forever to get to your room.
Oh, yeah.
When you're really probably not going that far, but it just seems like it.
Yeah.
But the Royal Rooms, now the Royal Rooms are quite a bit more expensive, but they are nice. They're kind of dark inside, and they feel a lot nicer than your standard moderate resort.
Now, I do remember staying at I want to call it Dixie Landing, French Quarters. Woo! But it was more to me. I remember it being more. It seemed like a motel.
Yeah.
Because there's no indoor hallways or anything, and like all the rooms, it looks like a motel because it goes straight down. So like I always remember towels being hung over all the railings and people hanging out outside of their rooms, and it looked like
If French Quarter does, it's more squared off, I guess you would say. Each section of buildings is just like a rectangle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of like the design of French Quarter. Like it doesn't do anything for me.
I think it's cool, but I'm an Alligator Bayou guy, all the way. But
see, I like the mansion buildings mainly because that little bridge that goes over the river. I like walking back and forth across that bridge, going to and from the room. Oh wow!
All right, well. That'll do it for rooms. I'll do transportation and merchandise. So let's start at Riverside with merchandise. So for merchandise, you have Fulton's General Store. It's basically connected to the main lobby of the resort. And inside Fulton's, you're going to find all your regular resort merchandise. You're going to find plush, pins, T-shirts, and you're going to be able to get, if you need coffee or Advil, just regular kind of groceries that you need. Same goes for the merchandise store, and I did not know the name of it until I looked it up. The merchandise store at, I keep wanting to call it Dixie Landings. French Quarter, it's called the Jackson Square Gifts and Desires. This is isn't that weird? I know. This is what I like about Fulton's General Store, going back to Riverside, is that they have really good resort-specific merchandise. That's one thing that I know whenever we go there, we buy whatever they have, because for a while, Disney wasn't doing resort-specific merch. It was just like, the same, like, Disney merch all over the place. Same stuff you could find everywhere. Even off property, you could probably find the same crap.
The same regurgitated stuff.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. So that's your merchandise. And then for transportation, at Port Orleans Riverside, you have your obvious bus stop at the very front of the entrance and throughout the different areas of the resort. I think there's a bus stop at 84... No, there's numbers. I'm trying to think of the numbers.
Oh.
I have the numbers in my head.
Well, it's like the South Depot, the West and North.
Well, there's a number for it, too.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of the numbers.
Yeah.
But there's like 3 bus stops and the front one, if I can remember correctly. Yep. And then for French Quarters, there's only 1 bus stop, and it's at the front of the entrance. And then also for transportation, you have the boats that can take you on the Sassagoula River to either you can load in at Riverside and then you can go to Disney Springs. I wanted to call that Downtown Disney Springs and back. It's a hell of a lot nicer than taking the bus. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, it's a lot longer, but it definitely is more scenic.
Oh yeah, you get to see the tree houses. You get to see Old Key West. The golf course, and you get to see like Disney Springs from a distance, so you can actually see like the whole like area. Oh, not aerial, but what do you call that?
Waterfront.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. And you can catch the boat from either resort. So, not much on my end. I got stuck with your transportation from last week. So, anyways.
I'll let Brett go next. I got a lot to talk about.
Okay.
I love food.
Alright. Starting at Riverside, I guess we'll talk about Old Man Island. It's a 3.5-acre refuge with a swimming hole, fishing hole, fashioned after an abandoned sawmill. This pool is accessible by 3 wooden bridges and a 95-foot-long rustic water slide built into the mill works. There's 5 different leisure pools, 3 in Alligator Bayou, 2 in Magnolia Bend, are available throughout the resort, offering more relaxing respite. These pools are perfect for guests looking to lounge a day away. You can rent towels, and there's the laundromat at Old Man Island.
Yeah, but you don't have to rent the towels; they're free.
Oh, yeah, that's what I mean. You can do the campfire on the bayou, which is kind of by Old Man Island.
Yeah, it's right there behind.
It's on the
back
same
side of the pool bar.
Yeah, you can roast marshmallows. You can do Movie Under the Stars, which is in the courtyard at Oak Manor. You can rent bikes by the lobby. There wasn't really a spot.
At the boat dock.
Yeah, but like you go out by the boat dock right behind the lobby.
Mm-hmm.
And you can rent a regular bike or a 4-wheel bike. You can do the fishing experience, which is right next to the Old Man Island pool. You can rent cane poles and fish for fish. It's catch and release. Then the jogging trail, which is a mile-long path around the hotel. Then the playground is on Old Man Island. It's like a regular playground.
Ooh, I have a question.
So,
So, I know the last time that we stayed at Riverside, we had a pool view room, and, you know, it was one of those, it was the pool right next to a laundromat, tiny little pools, kind of secluded. And I think maybe we even talked to you guys about this, but we noticed that, gosh, starting around like 10 or 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning, there was like a golf cart that pulled up next to the pool, and they were selling like hot dogs and potato chips, beer, soda, candy. It was the coolest thing. Are they still doing that?
We saw it
this last summer.
not last summer, the summer before last. And I asked about it then, and she told me what it was like. They had a schedule of they would be at this pool at this time. But it's one of those things that you never. It's hard to. I don't know where they can find that information out.
It wasn't on the
It's
thing.
not. It's not listed anywhere around the hotel. Because we actually looked for it later, but there is such a schedule. But I don't know how you found out about it. But that cart was cool for the non-feature pools.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have snacks at them.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like what you were saying about how Alligator Bayou, it's so far back there. And the walk to the main, food court, man, by the time you walk there to get a beer and then walk back to the pool, the beer's gone. You got to walk back and get another beer. So it's nice to have that food cart there. Just let me buy 4 or 5 beers and we're good.
Yeah, because the day we saw it, that was our thing that day. We were going to go to all the different quiet pools. We hit all 5 pools that day. Because we had never done half of them. It was just we just wanted to see them.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know. It was maybe the second or third pool. This golf cart pulls up with snacks and beer.
You got beer. I got the.
And they took Magic Band. So.
All right, Brett. Sorry for interrupting.
You're fine. Then you got the Mezzanine Arcade, which is in the Colonel's Cotton Mill. It's in the lobby.
The medicine show.
The Mezzanine Arcade. Then at French Quarter, you got the Doubloon Lagoon with festive decorations, an alligator band, and a blue sea serpent water slide. Kind of by, how do you say that river name? Sacagawea?
Sacagawea? What?
Sasagula?
Sasagula.
Yeah, that.
Sacagawea.
Then you got Movies Under the Stars, which is in the grass field between buildings 5 and 6 on the French Quarter Green. Then you got the campfire activities, which is pretty much the same as French Quarter. You can roast marshmallows and get bags of chips and candy bars. You can rent a bike right outside of the lobby, which is the same 2-wheel bike or 4-wheel bike. Then the jogging trail, which is a mile-long path. The playground at French Quarter, which is next to the Doubloon Lagoon. And then the South Quarter Games, which is a regular arcade, pinball, air hockey games, and it's located next to the Mint building in the lobby.
Ooh. You know that the pool there over at French Quarter is so cool when you walk up to it. It's got those alligators with like the horns, and then you walk through and there's like those little statues all over the place. It is the coolest entrance. And that pool, that slide is awesome. I remember little kid. I remember when it was Dixie Landings first, yeah?
I don't know.
No.
No, that was always Port Orleans.
It was just
French
called
Quarter
Port
was.
Orleans, right?
The French Quarter used to be called Port Orleans, and then the other side was just called
Dixie Landings.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember.
Then they made it all Port Orleans, and then made that the French Quarter.
Yeah, I remember when we were little, we stayed there at what is now called the French Quarter, and I mean, we spent all day at that pool. Because that was the slide you wanted to go on. It is the coolest slide.
Huh?
Did I ever go on that slide?
I don't think we've ever gone to that. We've walked down to that pool, but we've never actually gone to the pool and went swimming.
One thing that I noticed, and we haven't been to a lot of the pools at the resorts, but like, you know how in the afternoon they've got like activities for kids at the pools? We've noticed that the ones at French Quarter are really good. Like, I don't know what it is, but they seem to have like, maybe the lifeguards are better at what they do there, but it's like a really fun kid thing where they have like games and quizzes for the little kids at the pool. And then also, like 2 times ago when we were staying there, I don't know if they do this anymore, but right outside the lobby, they had set up in front of where the boat docks, a station where you could make a Mickey tie-dye shirt.
Yeah, I think they do it like...
It was like 2 days
like
a
once
week or something. It was weird, yeah.
Yeah.
I did it, and it was supposed to look like mouse ears.
But it didn't.
No, it looked horrible. In fact, I was going through clothes this past week just getting rid of stuff. I was like, chuck it. She's like, but you made it there. And I'm like, it doesn't look like Mickey.
I know, but you...
No, chuck it.
I could barely do the spiral tie-dyes. When I do it, it looks like crap. Doesn't even look like a spiral.
Is that all you got, Brett?
Yeah.
Oh, also, you know, another thing I like to do and this is, I guess, for all resorts, and we haven't even talked about it, but the penny press machines.
Oh, yeah.
You can, at all the resorts, they have penny press machines.
Usually
and they're
in the lobby.
Usually in the lobby. And they have resort-specific penny presses. That's a cool little fun souvenir to do,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
I agree.
But, Food. Wow, there's a lot to talk
Hold
about.
this guy.
All right.
That's the baby dog. All right. So, I am going to talk about both of the bars first because they pretty much have the same, like, drinks. So the bar at Port Orleans Riverside is called Muddy Rivers, the pool bar. And then the one at French Quarter is called Mardi Grogs. Their hours are 11:30 to 9:45 p.m. Well, at the French Quarter one, and it's 9:30 at Riverside. That's random. I don't get that. Yeah, the drinks are pretty much the same. Actually, I think they're exactly the same at both bars, but they have some different ones here than they do at the other bars. Like, they have one called All That Jazz, and then Bullfrog Brew, which I'm sure are just the same as other ones, just named differently for Port Orleans. And then at the one at French Quarter, they actually have sandwiches you can get as snacks at the pool bar. And at Muddy Rivers, they don't have any, like, sandwiches or anything like that. It's just pretty much drinks.
They had chips.
Yeah.
Remember, I got chips there.
Yeah. But, well, those are the pool bars. Nothing too exciting. Kind of the same drinks you can get at any of the pool bars.
What's that? What is it called? The pina
The one
colada?
that you love? Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, pina colada. Give me 4 of those.
Aaron loves that.
They have those at like everywhere. That's like the standard drink
Yeah.
everywhere.
It's so good.
I don't even know if it's on here.
Yeah.
Oh, it's called the Nola Cola at these bars.
Oh.
That's weird. Okay. Alright, we'll talk about Port Orleans Riverside first. So there is the River Roost, which is the lounge area that's right next to the shop, the
Fulton's.
yeah, Fulton's. Reservations aren't accepted. It's open from 4 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. They do take tables in Wonderland, and it's not on the Disney dining plan. So this is where you can listen to what's his name? I can never remember.
Yeehaw Bob.
Yeehaw Bob.
Yeah, Bob.
Yeah. And they've got some kind of interesting snacks. They have Colonel's Pieces, which is crawfish, shrimp, oysters, and okra in a crispy cornmeal batter with traditional remoulade. It sounds pretty good. Mardi Gras fritters, which are house-made pimento cheese fritters with pepper jelly. And then they have a Riverside burger with bourbon, bacon jam, smoked cheddar, and garlic aioli.
Ooh, that sounds like a Brett burger.
Yeah, everything here sounds pretty good. And then they have Abita beer, which is from New Orleans, actually. That brewery is from New Orleans, so it just kind of fits with the...
Really? I thought it was from Florida.
Abita? Huh.
Oh, cool.
That's the River Roost. Do you guys ever eat there when you
Yeah.
go listen?
We used to. The last couple of trips, we've actually gone and like made a whole night out of it.
Yeah.
And just go and watch. Get there early, get a table up front, and then watch both Yeehaw Bob shows. And they used to have a. It was crawfish, but they were like deep fried or something. I used to always get that. That was really good. But I don't remember what we got last time. We got food, but I don't remember what it was. But yeah, it's good. River Roost is
Talking about last time I went.
a blast.
Mhm.
Last summer.
Yeah, like it's a pretty small menu. There's like 5 entree
Yeah.
items
Yeah.
/ appetizers, and then they have gumbo, so it's not very big. But I like smaller menus.
Mhm.
Easier
But
to
you can, and a lot of people do it. If you've got like small kids that there's nothing on the menu, people do it all the time. They go down the food court and get stuff from there and bring it back too.
Oh,
so.
sure.
Yeah. The food court area at Riverside is called Riverside Mill. They do breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Reservations obviously are not accepted. It's a freaking food court. They're open from 6 a.m. to 12 a.m. and they do take the Disney dining plan, quick service, and snack credit. They don't really have anything that interesting for breakfast. It's like your normal stuff, like the bounty platter, Mickey waffles.
Mickey Waffle.
Yeah, just like
Hey.
your typical breakfast food.
Bates, come over here. Come. Come.
Crazy.
Come.
And then for lunch and dinner, they have some New Orleans style food. They have the Baton Rouge burger, which is pimento cheese, fried green tomato, and smoked bacon. That sounds really good to me.
Yeah.
Pimento cheese and a fried green tomato. Can't believe I've never had that before. They have a Bayou, how do you say it? Bayou
Bayou
burger. It is served with chopped prime rib, Abita beer fondue, and house-made pickles. They have a muffaletta sandwich. You guys know what muffaletta is?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like tons of meat.
Yeah.
With I don't know what that stuff's called. I mean, it's like muffaletta spread. It's like olives and chopped up vegetables, like pickled, and they put it on top. Shrimp salad po' boy, southern fried seafood, swamp burger, which is Carolina pulled pork and kale slaw on a toasted Kaiser roll. And then they had some fried green tomatoes and fried okra for side dishes, which sound good. And then the kids' menu is pretty uneventful. Kids don't eat adventurous food.
Yeah.
And then there's boat rides, which we have never been to before. I have not heard great things about boat rides. Have you guys eaten there before?
We've eaten there once. It was really good.
Yeah.
The only thing to me is I feel like it's similar to the food court.
When did we?
And the prices were. It's been a few years.
Oh, I thought I don't remember it.
I don't know. It just didn't feel like what the cost was for it was worth the sit down when you had the quick service right next to it.
Yeah.
But it was good. It was really good.
All right. So Boat Rights is the table service restaurant at Port Orleans Riverside. They only have dinner. It's open from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. Reservations are suggested, and they do take the Disney dining plan and Tables in Wonderland. Boat Rights is themed as a shipyard. I never knew that. I mean, I guess you could look in there and notice, but the ceiling just looks weird to me. It doesn't really look that cool.
Finished.
It just looks open. They've got a lot of different southern fare. They've got fried green tomatoes for appetizer.
Can you say this in a southern accent?
No, I can't. I'm sorry. They've got crawfish bisque for a soup. And French onion soup. And then some of their entrees that sounded good to me. They've got jambalaya, chicken and dumplings. I love chicken and dumplings. Deep South shrimp and grits. Pretty much everything is southern. They've got ribs. And then for like the kids menu, they've got normal kids stuff. Cheese pizza, grilled chicken. That kind of stuff. And then dessert, I thought sounded really good, is this bourbon street pecan pie. Doesn't that sound good?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's Boat Rights. I'm not done.
Oh.
There's a French Quarter, too.
Ooh.
So, the one thing about French Quarter that's different from all the other moderates is they don't actually have a table service. They're the only one that doesn't have a table service. What are you giggling about?
Nothing.
They have a lounge called the Scat Cats Club.
Scat!
That's open from 4
Scat.
p.m. to 12 a.m. And they don't take the dining plan, probably because they're a bar. And they do take Tables in Wonderland. They have a few snacks and nothing really interesting. The only thing... I mean, they have Bayou buffalo wings, but it's just like buffalo wings. Regular buffalo wings that they call.
They're from the
buffalo
Bayou.
wings.
They're
And
from
then-
the Sacagawea River.
This menu only has three drinks on it. I'm sure you can get more than what they have listed here, but maybe these are just their specialty drinks.
Yeah.
What is everybody laughing about?
I don't know. Hey, I don't know. Maybe somebody said a joke
I
over
think
there.
you do know. Alright, the food court at French Quarter is called Sasagula Floatworks and Food Factory. Their hours are 6 a.m. to 12 a.m. They take the Disney dining plan and Tables in Wonderland. They have a lot more themed food over here at French Quarter than they do at Riverside. Especially for breakfast, they've got a breakfast po' boy, which is scrambled eggs, andouille sausage, cheese, peppers, and red pepper aioli. They have Cajun grit bowl with shrimp, crispy fried chicken on a biscuit.
Yum.
Yeah, so they've got themed food over here as opposed to Riverside. So if you like that kind of food, you're gonna like it.
Love it.
They also sell beignets over here, which I wish they would do at Riverside because they're really good, and you
Ooh.
can get it with.
Have you guys had the beignets from over there?
Mm-hmm.
They're delicious.
And you can get
Yeah.
it with a dipping sauce, caramel, raspberry, or chicory coffee ganache.
What were we gonna say?
But you gotta eat them fresh, though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got some one night, I forget we were stuffed, and we had to get them. And we got them, took them back to the room, but
One the same.
they don't travel well.
Mm-mm. And they're so messy, you don't want to bring it into your room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
lunch and dinner menu, they've got some interesting things. They have a Cajun King Burger, which has andouille sausage on it, and then Creole mustard aioli. Crawfish mac and cheese burger, smothered with crawfish mac and cheese. They have daily po' boys, so you can either get catfish, shrimp, or beef debris.
Beef debris? That doesn't sound safe.
That sounds weird.
Beef debris. They also have power salads here. Remember Aaron was talking about the power salads?
Yeah.
Where was that at? Sports? All-Star Sports?
All-Star Sports.
I don't know what it is with these power salads. And then they also have things called Southern Classics, and you can get barbecue ribs, fried chicken, pork rack, prime rib, or salmon. And those come with, you can get a choice of, I don't even know how to say that. I don't even know what that is. Can you pronounce that?
Machi chocks.
Sure. Collard greens, mashed potatoes, glazed carrots, mac and cheese, or red beans and rice. So it's like a bigger entree style if you want something that's gonna be more of a dinner type style. And then for dessert, they have king cake, and they also have a beignet gelato sundae, which sounded really good.
Mm-hmm.
Making me hungry for dessert.
I know, beignet
I know.
with some ganache. That's pretty much it. Kid stuff, normal, boring, mac and cheese.
I like
That's
it.
all I think when I think about kids, mac and cheese.
Okay, so do we have any pros and cons for these two twin resorts, I guess?
Oh. The only downside I can think, the buses there just seem to be packed all the time.
Yeah.
That's one of the downsides for me.
I can't think of any more cons.
Yeah, I can't really think of any more negatives either.
I mean, the food court gets pretty packed, but that's like really typical with any of the resorts. You just have to get there at the right time.
Yeah, you have to get there early, or if you get there like 8 o'clock, that place is a zoo in the morning.
Yeah.
But
yeah, we always get there like right after they open, like 6:30 in the morning. There's no one there. And then I don't know. I like everything about Port Orleans Riverside. It's where we stay most of our time, so I have stayed there like 5 or 6 times. It's my top moderate resort.
yeah, ours too. And we've stayed there more than any other moderate.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got the boat, so you got a second means of transport. It's the only moderate
That
with
has that
with
boat,
water,
yeah.
the water taxi. So
Well,
I don't have any pros and cons. I just like Alligator Bayou. But, alright, is that going to do it for this week's episode?
yeah.
yep.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks for joining us again this week for another episode in this series of the Theme Parkers Podcast. You can find me, Aaron, on Instagram at themeparkeraaron. You can find all of us on Facebook at Theme Parkers Podcast. You can email us at themeparkerspodcast@gmail.com. Sarah, where can we find you, little lady?
All of those same places, and on Instagram at themeparkersarah.
Brian.
On Twitter and Instagram at WDWRLD, and Facebook under Brian Skinner.
Brett.
Facebook at Brett Skinner, Twitter at Skipper Leaky, Instagram at Skipper Leaky Tiki, and Snapchat at Trippy_Tiki.
You got anything else?
Nope.
Okay. All right. Well, that'll do it, and we will... What are you giving me the stink eye for?
Nothing.
Okay. All right. We will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
See ya.
See ya.
He's got to get the last word in.
I know.